How is Giovanni Leone? What's the prognosis there? And on the flip side of the disappointment for him, does it also open up a place in the Champions League squad for Federico Chiesa now?
Yeah, the last thing is true. And the first thing, he's not in a good place, of course, because he tore his ACL, which means that he will be out for around a year. So, being so young, coming to a new country, playing so well in your first game, it's very hard to take the positive side. No, there's never a positive side, but yeah, you always try to look at a positive side, and that is that he's still so young, so that he has so many years still to go after he recovers from a terrible injury like that.
How much of a blow is it for you? I know you're talking about the human being there, but also squad-wise, because you face Crystal Palace this weekend, and I suppose with Mark Gay lining up in their side, there might be a sense of what might have been given what happened on transfer deadline day.
Yeah, but I don't think 2 or 3 days before, 1 day before we play them to talk about that again. He's a Crystal Palace player, and he's been very important for them as long as he's there. So we have to prepare for Crystal Palace, who are a very good team. I think they haven't lost 17 games in a row now, and he's part of that team. So difficult team to beat, but we are also a difficult team to beat, as we've shown when we played against each other, because we've beaten them once with 1-0 and twice it was a draw. And we have more than enough options to replace, if needed, a player at the centre-back position, because of course we've got Virgil, Joe and Ibu, and other options if needed.
Is Alexander Isak ready to start now, obviously thinking with no Hugo Ekitike in particular?
Yeah, he's able to make minutes again. I still feel 90 is... depends also on the pace and the intensity of the game, but that might be a bit too much. But not only that, also for the long term, so you can't give a player maybe one, I would call stupid hit, to bring him to 90, and then his body is completely, you brought him too far over the line. So I don't think it's smart to play him 90 yet. But he's further into his pre-season now, and normally after 2 or 3 weeks in pre-season, players go to 60, 70 minutes, and in some clubs they even bring them to 90, but if you look at our pre-season, we mainly bring them to 60 to 70 minutes then.
And yet they are unbeaten for 17 games and could set a new club record in all competitions if they went 18 unbeaten. This run, as our stats guy was just telling me now, Ed, he was saying that, Stan, he was saying that it's 17 games unbeaten. The next best, the next best is Barcelona. Guess how many games? 7.
Wow.
This is impressive. Of Europe's top 5 leagues, this is impressive. Oliver Glasner doesn't sound too chuffed about it, but he could, put his name into the history books, and so could Crystal Palace. It's amazing.
They could do, and they've defied the odds on so many occasions, Crystal Palace, particularly against the big clubs as well. They were winners in the Community Shield, as we all know. They were winners of the FA Cup last season. They gave a lot of hope to some of the mid-ranking teams who think that maybe some of the bigger teams have got all the money, all the resources, but he makes the sum of the parts work. Did it at Frankfurt, doing it at Palace now, and I think some of the players at his football club are so underrated, not least Arteta up front. Mikel Arteta, we've just been talking about.
It's all kicking off here. Everyone's names. It's okay. Welcome to the club.
But, I think this game is a fascinating game. The 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the Premier League are going up against each other. Palace, organised, efficient, power up front, defensive solidity and organisation at the back, protection for that back 4 as well in midfield. But Liverpool still not having found their stride just yet. They always find a way to win regardless of what happens, because they dominate the ball. They've got creativity in that forward line. They're probably around about 50-60% of where they want to be. We haven't seen the best Liverpool yet, but I think that winning run that they've established and the motivation now to really put together the kind of run we saw last season from Liverpool and to put Arsenal out of it, put the pressure onto them, I think that will power them going into this match.
Yeah, absolutely scary thought that they aren't yet at their absolute best. Liverpool and yet won 5 from 5. If the Premier League table, which Liverpool currently lead, if the Premier League table was made up of games only from January, since the start of 2025, as it says at the top there, Crystal Palace are 4th.
Wow.
That is really, really impressive, wouldn't you say?
That's incredible. And I think just before they went on this run, they had at the start of last season, they had a very rocky beginning.
1 win in 5 months in the Premier League.
And I think it's almost just a huge testament to the football club to just put a bit of trust and calmness in allowing the process to run its course and let Glasner get his system, get the players to understand it, get the players he needs in certain positions. I think defensively, they're excellent. They're a great example of in and around in their own final third, defensively, in and around the penalty box. The 3 centre-backs are almost always, they're so narrow.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to create chances against them in that central area. And they've, I think, thrived off the fact that now a number of the top teams really don't like playing up against them. And I feel like they've grown into that. And then they have the excitement up front. You know, Mateta went on a run last season and was just love his celebration. He brings that little bit of excitement and energy that then I think also then lifts the fans to that next level. And it's exceptional how well he's done.
A player that really has come to life under Oliver Glasner. Let's look at Glasner's record and just put into context for you how well he has done at Crystal Palace since coming in. They have the joint, as you mentioned, joint best defensive record in the Premier League currently, alongside Arsenal, having conceded just twice so far this season, 3 clean sheets in 5 Premier League games. And there are a whole host of stats in all competitions, played 70 and won 32, losing only 15 with a win ratio of 45.7%. Honours won Community Shield. Of course, they beat Liverpool. And that sets up a second meeting between the two sides already this season. Quick thoughts on Glasner's record so far at Palace, and then the fact that they have this little bit of recent history with Liverpool.
Well, the Palace record is outstanding, as Rachel was saying, considering the start to the season. But the reason why they kept faith with him is because they knew what they had. They knew what he'd done at Frankfurt, and they knew that he was bringing that to Selhurst Park. In terms of the spice with Liverpool, it's interesting because they've got the psychological edge, if you like, of having beaten Liverpool and not being afraid of them in doing so. Liverpool will point to their record. I think it's 10 wins in a row in the Premier League at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. And again, as I say, they're not yet at where they want to, but they're not at their best. Isak is still nursing his way into the side. He'll have to start now because Ekitike can't play, and that's going to be fascinating. Will he want the physical game that this could become at Selhurst Park?
Yeah, just to give you those exact numbers, 10 unbeaten at Palace, 9 wins and 1 draw. So it's been all Liverpool. Palace have won only 1 of 14 against Liverpool in the Premier League. So the numbers tell a very different story. The stats, the history tell a different story. But Palace right now are a tricky team. Liverpool have discovered that themselves. Let's talk about the Reds, though. And Darren said they're not even at 100% yet.
No, you
that's
think they're only at
scary.
50%?
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I think everyone is trying to find their rhythm. I think everyone will improve an incremental amount as the weeks come in. I think one of the best things about this period for Liverpool is they have found a way to win all these games. I think there's been moments where you've thought, potentially the points have been at jeopardy, but I just feel what that creates psychologically for a team is so powerful. I actually think Liverpool would be better off by only operating at 50-60%, let's call it. Because what they're gaining is this ability to score late in games, to know that they've find a way to battle through the tough moments, to ride their luck when they need to. That momentum is very special. You can only gain that by experiencing it. They've probably done it better than anyone so far this season, which is just another string to their bow that they probably don't necessarily need, but they'll take it.
I only say it because Wirtz is nowhere near as good as he was in Germany. Isak is still nursing his way into the side.
Yeah.
Salah hasn't been that great, even though he scored important goals so far this season. Gravenberch has probably been their best player, and Van Dijk has done all right, but not as well as he could have. Probably the last couple, particularly the Arsenal game where they were very, very defensively strong. But I still think that there are quite...
Konate's off the pitch, it's a long throw. Flipped. Will Hughes keeps it alive. It's fallen through. Oh, Unbelievable! Hey, who said old school throw-ins have gone out the window? No, he's flicked onto the front post. Eddie Nketiah brings it down onto his chest. Left foot, rocket spin to the back of the net. He had an opportunity with his head early on. Game over, 2-1 Crystal Palace. It certainly is the biggest test of the season, Simon. 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
What an amazing moment for the former Arsenal man. Eddie Nketiah has grabbed the winner at Selhurst Park in the dying moments, and just as Liverpool had hauled themselves back into it with another late show, it's Palace with the late show today, and it looks like they're going to equal that club record of 18 games unbeaten, but they won't care about that. They'll care about the fact that they have made it 2 wins out of 2 against Liverpool this season. Remember, winners on penalties in the Community Shield way back in August, and they have hit the front in the 97th minute at Selhurst Park. A long throw into the box, and Eddie Nketiah from the flick on, able eventually to put it in the back of the net. Just wondering if we're going to look at a possible offside, but I think it is going to be tight. It is going to be tight.
Oh, yeah, he's onside.
Starting off with the Premier League, and Liverpool unable to add to those 15 points after their first defeat of the season to Crystal Palace by 2-1. The 100% record is over, so they're on 15 points. And look at that, from Crystal Palace up into second on 12 points from 6. Bournemouth also on the move after a late draw against Leeds United. They're up into third. Manchester City up into fourth after their 5-1 win at home to Burnley this afternoon. Arsenal in action against Newcastle United tomorrow, so they drop down into fifth. They're on 10 points, and then come Tottenham on 10 points. Tottenham kick off at 8 o'clock this evening at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Chelsea dropping down into 7th from 6th after that 3-1 defeat at home to Brighton. Brighton moving into the top half. Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers, they go later away to Tottenham Hotspur. They remain without a point so far with 5 defeats from 5. West Ham today, changing manager. Graham Potter's gone. Nuno Espirito Santo's in with a 3-year contract. They go in the Monday Night Football. They're on 3 points. Then come Aston Villa on 3 points. Villa at home to Fulham from 2 o'clock on Super Sunday tomorrow. Burnley dropping down into 17th. They got it back to 1-1 against City at the Etihad, but then it was all City winning by 5-1. Burnley dropping down into 17th, and Nottingham Forest ahead of their Saturday Night Football that gets underway at 5:30 at home to Sunderland, drop down into 16th. Newcastle United and Manchester United dropping down places as well. United down into 14th after they lost in the lunchtime game at Brentford by 3-1.
Overall, it was a performance that deserved 3 points, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the first half we had multiple chances. I think obviously there's not many teams that can create that much against Liverpool, so credit to us. And I think it was probably deserved the 3 points, so happy to be able to help and contribute.
What do you think the key was to creating so many chances against a team like Liverpool, as you say?
Yeah, I think we're just hard to play against. We've got a nice, resilient group. Obviously, we work together, and we've got threats and talent up front and in midfield, so we know we're going to hurt any team we play against, and today it all clicked for us, and thankfully we were able to get the 3 points.
And as you showed, although you don't want to be there, real strength off the bench as well today.
Yeah, of course. Obviously everyone's fighting for positions. We all want to play, we all want to contribute, so whether I get 5, 10, 15, 90, I'm always going to try and contribute and give the best for the team.
You're the last unbeaten team in the Premier League now. Do you feel you're onto something here? Do you feel there's something special happening this season?
Yeah, we're just going to take it one game at a time. Obviously, like I said, we've got a really good group. We achieved a lot last season and started really well this season. So we want to keep pushing and want to try and bring more success to this club for the fans.
Well done today.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
A reminder, Crystal Palace are 12 unbeaten in the Premier League for the first time in their history. But did you think when Chiesa, and after a big forensic views goal stood, that Liverpool somehow were going to get something out of it?
Definitely. Definitely. We all know that Liverpool finish games very well. They have done this season, and they finished this game well. So a bitter pill to swallow conceding in injury time. They know how it feels to score in injury time. Now they know how it feels to concede. But it was a lovely ball in, this was. Just floated in. Mo Salah goes up, might flick his arm. That's what VAR were looking at. Hard to be conclusive. And he was getting pulled back at the time. Because it wasn't conclusive, I think they let it go. And Chiesa, as many times when you hit one in the corner, you tend to scuff it in there, but he's starting to make an impact off the bench, and definitely Liverpool would have thought that's at least our unbeaten run continuing, even if it was only 1 point, but Palace had other ideas.
Yeah, that's his second goal off the bench as a Premier League substitute this season. Talking of which, enter Eddie Nketiah. He's only ever scored 3 times in the Premier League in a Palace shirt. What a moment for him personally as well as the team this was.
Yeah, but we know how good this Crystal Palace team is on set pieces. Long throw. Can you win the first one? Can you get the flick? Can you win the second one? Will Hughes does brilliantly, and then Guéhi wins that one, and it's a great finish. And that's what Nketiah said it there. They're hard to play against. They make it difficult. Look, you got to win these second balls. You win one there, and then you win that one. That little flick. He's onside, and Nketiah, great little chest and great finish.
Frimpong didn't know where he was. He got the wrong side of him. Do you know, in the lead up to it, Don Hutchison said in commentary, but Kirk has had an opportunity to not give that throw-in away. They shouldn't be given a set piece in the last seconds of the game. Could have cleared it with his right foot. He lets it run across his body and then swings it out for a throw-in. Really goal, and Arne Slot won't be happy with that.
Yeah, pleased to report that Oliver Glasner's hamstring is absolutely fine as well.
He didn't know where he was going, did he?
After that celebration, no. He needed a sat-nav at the end of that. Liverpool, did they struggle physically at times defensively today for you?
Well, I don't know whether it was tiredness. I mean, they rested a fair few players in midweek in the Carabao Cup.
They weren't their usual
Southampton.
selves, were
They
they?
weren't their usual selves, but whether you can blame it on tiredness or anything, we are early in the season. I mean, I'd be hesitant to blame it on that. I mean, Konate in the first half didn't know what he was doing. And I can't say that was because of rustiness or tiredness or anything else like that. We've seen one or two performances from him this season that have been quite similar. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use that excuse. I would definitely give praise to Crystal Palace. They're a proper team. They're not, I mean, you mentioned how many games they've gone unbeaten. They beat Liverpool, obviously, early in the season, the Community Shield. It wasn't a fluke. So I would be more inclined to say Palace played particularly well.
And probably Arsenal on the team flight or just arriving at the team hotel on Tyneside at the moment ahead of that game at Newcastle tomorrow. What a fillip that is for them.
Steve, that's the best feeling. Do you know when you see your rivals lose on the way to the game tomorrow? So they'll be absolutely buzzing with that. And to be fair, Liverpool weren't at their best of it. Crystal Palace deserved to win that game.
OK, let's continue our round.
All last season, and so far it's transpired before today, they've picked up more points away from Selhurst Park.
So impressive. You think how, yes, we were better in the second half and we created chances, but a lot were half chances, weren't they, really? And then we had like Ibu's header in the first half. Chiesa comes on. Wirtz, if he puts his chance away, changes the narrative of the game. But we didn't really pick them apart, and that's testament to how solid they are, which will hold them in good stead. They're such a good, well-organised team. Not many teams will pick anything up at Selhurst Park this season.
Yeah, credit where credit is due to Palace. Let's show you the match stats as they are, and you can make your minds up from this whether it was a deserved win for Palace or not. I mean, as we would come to expect from a Liverpool side, Nigel dominating the possession there, but fairly equal in terms of shots. Palace having more shots on target. Liverpool's XG is lower than Palace's, but not by much. I mean, looking at that, you might think Liverpool were worthy of a draw.
Well, if you hadn't given that one away late on, got back into the game to get 1-1. But sometimes stats lie for me. Possession, if you go 1-0 up, you sit back, take the pressure and then hit on the counter-attack, you're not going to get much possession. And it's all about how many goals you score in the end. It's not about possession and where you have that possession. If you're knocking it across your back four in your own half, it shouldn't count really. But, you look at that in Liverpool, 20 shots, Palace 16. We had a lot of pressure. Some of them half chances, as Phil said, but only 4 shots on target of that 20, which probably isn't good enough to win a match.
Yeah, I can tell you, out of those 20 shots, Phil, 14 of those came in the second half for Liverpool. So it really does show that the difference and the contrast between those two halves.
It does, and you'd have to argue. It felt very much like Arne's first game against Ipswich last season. We were very poor in the first half, and then he probably gave them both barrels in the dressing room and they come out a different team. And I suspect that happened again today because there needed to be a change. Yes, the personnel change, Gakpo coming on made a big difference. Chiesa, of course, coming on made a difference. But the attitude, I think, at times, go there. It's going to be tough. There are no easy games. That place is bouncing. It's noisy. It's very attritional there. It's hard. My family live around the corner, walking distance. We can hear them. You know what I mean? When I go around Sunday, so it's tough. We didn't find the polish we needed. We've got quality, star quality in that team. I'm talking big players. We needed Mo today. We probably needed a little bit more from Isak. He did tire mentally. There was some times when he made the wrong runs. There was times when he needed to be a little bit more dynamic when a couple of crosses came into the box. But that will come from Isak. But it just wasn't good enough. And sometimes you have games like that. We had Nottingham Forest last season.
Yep.
We still won the league.
We did, indeed. Let's speak to someone who soaked it all in person. Ray Houghton at Selhurst Park looks pretty quiet now, but I imagine it was bound out. What was your take on that whole game, really?
I thought it was a game of two halves, to be honest with you, Becky. I thought in the first half, Crystal Palace were excellent. I thought they'd done a number on Liverpool. They frustrated them, hit them on the counter-attack, had numerous chances in that first half to come in at half-time, probably 2 or 3-0 up. It was only down to some indifferent finishing from the Palace players, and I thought Alisson was the only player that stood up in that first half for Liverpool. I thought he was excellent. Then the second half, the game changed. Palace started to sit back. Liverpool started to get a grip on the game, created some chances, not golden opportunities, but put enough pressure on the Palace players, and they started to sit back. Then we got to 1-1, and you were looking at if anyone was going to win it, it looked like it was going to be Liverpool. But I talked before the game, Palace play for set plays, corners, free kicks, throw-ins, and we didn't defend 2 of them well enough today, and that led to the 2 goals. Over the course of the game, yeah, you could have said Liverpool probably could have got a draw from it, but with clear-cut chances, I thought Palace probably just about edged it.
Welcome back. As things stand, Crystal Palace are second in the Premier League. They lead the leaders, Liverpool, remember, with that 100% record by 1-0. We'll see the goal, Michael, but then we'll point out it could have been a lot more than 1 goal for Palace.
Yeah, I think Arne Slot will be in the dressing room now thanking his lucky stars. It's only 1 and Liverpool are still in the game. I mean, Liverpool contributed to their own downfall with possibly, arguably, their best player of the season so far, heading it back into the 6-yard box for Sarr to swivel and fire them ahead. But as I say, after that, it could have been many, many more. But this is a poor header from Gravenberch, Owen.
Yeah, to be fair, he gets bumped by Gahey, which is a bit ironic because obviously Liverpool came in for him. But Crystal Palace are brilliant on set pieces. They attack that back post. To be fair, I don't know I've ever seen Liverpool outplayed that much. Crystal Palace could be up 4 or 5. They've been absolutely magnificent.
As if we needed reminding, have we just seen in that first half the magnitude of Alisson sometimes in that Liverpool goal?
Well, if Liverpool do manage to salvage something out of this game, then they will certainly say it's down to him. And this is why he is the best, if not one of the best in the world. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's brave, he's courageous, he guesses right a lot of the time. I think he had it in his mind there that the ball was going back into that corner, so he starts shifting his feet in the meantime. Konate's had a real tough first half, but his goalkeeper's pulled him out multiple times. And when he didn't pull him out, the woodwork helped him. But no, he's been top class, Steve.
Do you know, Mo, we were joking about earlier about keepers getting out of the way. He's always in the way.
Yeah.
He literally saves everything. He's brilliant. He's got strong hands. He makes every save possible. Obviously, Mateta's unlucky there. He could have had a hat-trick, Mateta, but Glasner, what a job he's done with this group
That'll
of
be
players.
his only frustration that they're 1-0 up, as crazy as it sounds.
Steve, it should have been 3 or 4. The thing is, and we said about Liverpool before, with the late goals, they'll be back. Don't question that at all.
I mean, he's had some fantastic situations, Arne Slot, as Liverpool manager, but this is one of his biggest Premier League half-time team talks here.
Well, sometimes you can be 1-0 down and you're still sort of in control of the game. You still feel as if you're playing well. But at the moment, if things continue like this, there's only going to go one way. It's going to go 2-0 and 3-0. So he has to change something, which he doesn't have to normally do. Now, Gakpo is sitting there. He's been one of Liverpool's most improved players over the last season or so. Probably can feel himself hard done not to be playing. He sat there. He can make a change. Obviously, Ekitike is out suspended. So he's not really got loads of options. Young Ungamoa on the.
Get him on. He's
a game changer, but it won't happen straight away. I think he'll give time for them to change things, let's say, with the players he's got first, and then start making changes later on.
And Liverpool. Then it's Bournemouth and Manchester City in that top 4. Arsenal have a chance to break into it tomorrow. Then it's Tottenham, Chelsea, Sunderland, Fulham and Brighton making up that top 10. In terms of the bottom half, quick look, you'll see Villa, West Ham and Wolves in the bottom 3, but none of them have yet played. Burnley just out of it by a point. Further up, you'll find Manchester United dropping down to 14th and Newcastle just behind them in 15th. But of course,
Palace deserved to win. They were much better than us in the first half. Could have been up 3-4-0 maybe. And in the second half, I think it was a better performance from us. We had some very good, clear chances. But yeah,
a second set-piece goal led to a Palace win.
We were always talking about our personality and so that always let's go for a win, and the players, I think, they have now implemented it, and then they also want it. And I think again, everybody who is close to Crystal Palace got the reward today, and I think this is just because the players went for the win.
What was his message to you when you came on?
You know, he said I was going to get a situation, so just to stay calm, and I tried to do that.
Talk me through that situation, because you did stay very calm indeed.
Yeah, you know, I saw Will, win the header in there, and it was coming over, and it was a nice clean strike on my left foot, and obviously it was a bit of a wait with VAR, but happy to get the goal in the end, yeah.
Yeah, it was well worth the wait for Eddie Nketiah and for Crystal Palace. A deserved win and a dominant performance from Palace. How did they do it, Alan?
Well, there's a lot of talk about systems and whether you can play 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs in the Premier League. This is a team that can, because they haven't been beaten this season. They beat Manchester City in the FA Cup last year. They went head-to-head with Liverpool in the Community Shield, took that home as well. But they're very, very well coached, they're very well organised, and all the players are very comfortable in this system, and they're excellent at it. There's your centre forward, there's your 2 10s in Sarr and Pino, and there's your 2 sitting midfielders, Kamada and Wharton. Of course, you've got your 2 wing-backs who were also excellent again today. There's the first to go, Kamada. OK, he doesn't get the ball, but just watch the way the players move around and work off each other and know when to the trigger as to who goes, who's going to press, and then everyone else backs him up. Now, this is a really good move early on in the game. They get the corner from that, and then they eventually score from that corner from there. So, again, there's your guys who are sitting. There's your guys who are waiting to go. And no surprise again, the press is first from one of their sitting midfielders. And say what you want about Konate, he gets done off the ball there. But look, they work it really, really well. Your 2 10s, Sarr and Pino, working well together and understanding each other. There's your 2 wing backs, making the pitch so big and so difficult for Liverpool to get back in. So you've got 1 wing back, Mitchell, into the other wing back there, into Munoz. And Palace absolutely battered Liverpool in the first half. If it wasn't for Alisson, who made 4 or 5 magnificent saves, the game would have been over then. There's one of your 10s again. Look at the other midfielder running off him. And then again, Konate gets mugged off Mateta, and it's another fabulous save from Alisson again. Ball in behind. Look at Munoz again trying to get into the box there. And this would have been such a clever goal. So well worked, as I said. Everyone understanding. Fantastic effort from Mateta. Really, really unlucky not to see it go in the back of the net. Kamada there again, the sitting midfielder, playing the ball through, how and when to play it with the pace. And it's just, they look, as I said, they were absolutely outstanding. And here's the winning goal, which they deserved. And they make it so difficult for Liverpool to clear that ball. They don't let them settle at all. And that is a great finish. Nothing more than Crystal Palace deserved. They really have been absolutely superb. And if they can keep the vast majority of those players fit, then they could have a very, very exciting season.
Not just unbeaten this season, unbeaten in 18 games in all competitions. They're on a fantastic run, Micah. This is not, and far from, a one-off good performance from them. They've been excellent for a while.
They have been really excellent. I think when Al showed there in his clips how fluid they are. So when they go from, if it's a low block and then the transition, it's really quick. Everyone knows where to be. And Alan made a really good point there, the trigger, when to go. So many times when we see teams play, they don't know when to go. They sort of wait in, shall I? And then all this team are so well organised. That comes from the manager, who is just brilliant. Don't forget, he won the Europa League at Frankfurt. He comes from decent pedigree already. But this team, it just delightful.
No fluke today. They deserved it. They were much better than Liverpool.
And Liverpool not at the races at all. What went wrong with their performance?
They were all over the place, particularly defensively. The way Palace moved the ball, the way they closed down, they just didn't have an answer to that, particularly the first half. We've seen them rip them up and 5 or 6 times with really good play. And Liverpool, after so many errors, so many spaces that were allowing Palace to get on the ball and play at their tempo. As I said, if it wasn't for Alisson, it would have been 4 or 5 at half-time.
Konate is starting to worry me a little bit. Him and Van Dijk have been a good partnership and have done really well together, but his individual errors at this moment in time, it's just making the back line look a little bit nervy. You know, Liverpool are always good in defence. Van Dijk, he always marshals the back line, but they give Palace too many opportunities for no actual reason. It was just being sloppy, and that's so unlike Liverpool.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace not a side you want to give any opportunity.
Palace deserved to win. They were much better than us in the first half. Could have been up 3-4-0 maybe. We had to thank Alisson that it was only 1-0. And in the second half, I think it was a better performance from us. We had some very good, clear chances, which we didn't take. And then we fought to be happy to score in the end the equaliser, which would have given us a point. But yeah, a second set-piece goal led to a Palace win.
Last year we also broke a record, the worst start into the Premier League season, and we ended with a points record for Crystal Palace. So it's now not always clapping on your shoulder and say, we are the best ones. No, it's not. Like we're always doing, analysing the game, what are we doing well, what we need to improve, really being very, very analytical, and of course taking all this positivity, taking these emotions to the players and show it this evening and show it this game is the best recovery. And then on Tuesday we will start preparing for Kiev.
I think in the first half we had multiple chances. I think obviously there's not many teams that can create that much against Liverpool, so credit to us. And I think it was probably deserved the 3 points, so happy to be able to help and contribute.
What do you think the key was to creating so many chances against a team like Liverpool, as you say? Yeah,
I think we're just hard to play against. We got a nice, resilient group. Obviously we work together, and we got threats and talent up front and in midfield, so we know we're going to hurt any team we play against. And today it all clicked for us, and thankfully we were able to get the 3 points.
Yeah, it certainly did all click once again for Crystal Palace. Their best start for 35 years in any division. And Martin, they thoroughly deserved that win today, didn't they?
Yeah, they were absolutely brilliant. The manager Slot said exactly that there, that they could have been. And Liverpool get a very late goal, as we probably expected. What we didn't expect was them to concede one. But the overall picture for Liverpool is that they've won some matches this particular season that they didn't deserve to win. And today they've got what they deserve, which was absolutely nothing. They're still a really fine side, but Crystal Palace were magnificent.
Let's take a look at how Crystal Palace did it then. And Ismail Assar loves a goal against Liverpool. He's got 5 in 8. Talk us through this one today, Darren.
Yeah, it's just anticipation. Picking up the pieces. He's in there, he's bouncing around a little bit, but he's the one in his toes because he's surrounded by a lot of Liverpool bodies in there, but he manages to find just a yard of space. He goes in there and he just anticipates where the ball's going to drop, and he does that really well. No one's marking him, but look there, he's the only one in the 6-yard box. He's on the move, he's on his toes, and he swivels on it, and it's a simple finish. I can't say any more than that because he's there. The most impressive part is that he found space in that particular 6-yard box, and a really nice goal.
Now, Chiesa did level things up for Liverpool, and I think, Martin, potentially, if Crystal Palace hadn't gone on to win this game, this goal might have been quite controversial.
Yes, because the VAR looked at it for quite a long time, and they thought that Salah had actually handled the ball. But I don't think that was conclusive, and eventually VAR decided that he didn't do that. He was able to keep the centre half for a while at least. But he is hot property himself, and he is the man of the moment.
Oh, let them enjoy it while they've still got all these players and managers.
Absolutely. For Crystal Palace's sake, I hope he doesn't go.
As for Liverpool, bit of a reality check, perhaps?
A little bit. Maybe got a bit complacent after their winning games late on, not exactly playing that well. But listen, they're a good side. They're still trying to figure things out, getting Wirtz in. Isak obviously made his Premier League debut starting from the start of the game. So, yeah, it was a bit of a reality check. Still defensively look a bit wobbly to me, but they've got good players and they're a good side with a good manager who've got pedigree. They've won the Premier League last year. They will bounce back from this.
Reaction to that first defeat in the league of the season. The 100% record is over. Here he is now.
Arne, what are your initial thoughts on that result and the performance?
Very, very difficult first half for us. They did really well. Deserved to be 1 goal up. I think we were even lucky that it was only 1-0. Second half performance was maybe a bit the opposite. I think we had enough chances to score. Took a while before we scored one, and when we scored one, there was only a few minutes left. You think it's going to be a draw, but from their second set piece, they won the game.
Both their goals came from set pieces in a way. Was that a bit of a concern?
Yeah, that's what I said. So for the second goal they scored from, I said, wasn't the second set piece, but If you wanna compete, if you wanna be right up there, you need a very positive balance in set pieces. That's what I always say for years, and in this league, that's probably even more the situation. So that was one of our biggest strengths last season. We hardly conceded set piece. Now against Newcastle, we conceded 2, and today we conceded 2. So that's something we need to do better. But this league is more and more and more and more about set pieces. So we had to defend a lot of them as well. And then the margins are small. One of our players in the last minute runs forward, maybe to try to counter-attack for a second goal. But in that area, the ball falls for a Crystal Palace player who scores.
In the first half in particular, you needed Alisson really to keep the scores down. What was it that you feel caused you so much trouble from the way Palace attacked?
Their game plan. It's a team that their game style, their way they play fits really well to their players. So a lot of they go to a low block. Their counter attack is a big threat with the fast players they have and the target man they have with Mateta. And if we try to press them, they are very good in playing the balls in behind the last line. We had a lot of problems with that in the first half. A lot, 4 or 5 chances we gave away, which is a lot. And for the rest of the time, we had ball possessions, playing the ball from right to left. But it's so hard to play through that low block. It's even more harder if they're already 1-0 up.
Yeah, it looked like a day when...
And next to come for Liverpool, Galatasaray away in the Champions League next week. It's Chelsea away, then Manchester United at home in the Premier League. Season. They had a wonderful start. A lot of people felt at some point those late goals and being less than convincing that the luck would run out at some point. Nothing to worry about at the moment. But in terms of things he needs to fix, in terms of getting all these amazing parts functioning at their very best, what's his biggest area of concern right now?
Well, defensively, you look at the opportunity that he's giving up, and you see the scoreline today, 2-1. It could have been more to Crystal Palace. It could, obviously, two set pieces. Obviously, the second one was the second phase from Eddie Nketiah late on, but the first one will be really disappointing. I mean, that's just an individual error. He's just got the head wrong, and it's gone back into the 6-yard box. That can happen, but when it keeps happening, people keep questioning why. It's not like they're not working, but what it brings enormous amount of pressure. So every set piece, it's like, oh my word, anxiety goes through, you switch off for a second, then it's another goal. And we've seen it too many times this season with Liverpool. We've always talked about how good they are going forward. Today I didn't really see that. I don't think they were great. And I think he was very honest there. Crystal Palace were the better of the two teams and they got the just rewards.
Jorse, these are heady days for Crystal Palace. Not just this amazing run, but they sit second in the Premier League ahead of the games to come this evening and, of course, Super Sunday tomorrow. I mean, they were well worth that win as well. We knew it was going to be a massive test for Liverpool, and it's a test that Liverpool, at times, couldn't live with.
They couldn't, and credit to Crystal Palace. We spoke about them early on in the show, and the togetherness and resilience that they show together. And I think it just shows second in the Premier League, 3 points behind Liverpool. And you can go all the way back to last season and what they achieved, winning an FA Cup. Start of this season, winning the Community Shield against Liverpool, and it just brings massive belief. And they're in European footballers having to deal with that midweek, Saturdays, midweek again, because they haven't got the biggest of squads. But I tell you what, they've got some real talent in that team, and players, obviously Sarr coming back in and getting his goal. Pino, 2 in middle of the park. Adam Wharton, wow, this boy is special. Got
he's
brought
something
off.
Else, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still getting back to fitness, but he just plays with a calmness and experienced head, plays forward whenever he can. Kamada next to him, unbelievable as well. I just can't compliment this Crystal Palace team enough from back to front. Mateta holding the ball up, physicality, creating chances. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get a goal today, but he brought numerous saves out of Alisson. And if it wasn't for Alisson in the first half, they could have been out of sight. I mean, the first goal came from a really poor defending from Liverpool, in swinging corner. Gravenberch gets it all wrong. He's at the back post, should clear it away, heads it back towards, and Sarr scores the goal. But they had opportunities. And this was Premier League at its best. As a pundit sat here watching football on a Saturday afternoon, it doesn't get much better. Honestly, it was a great game of football, 2 top teams, and Liverpool chucked the kitchen sink out at the end. And just when they got back to 1-1, I thought, here we go, it's going to be one winner. But Palace kept going, 90 plus 7 minutes, they get the goal. And that's where Arne Slot was going mad, and those Liverpool players, because there was 6 minutes of time added on, scored 97.
He can't complain about that. There's so many late goals so far this season. But that atmosphere at the end, and we know how rocking that stadium can be. But you don't often see scenes like that where minutes after a Premier League game in September is finished, it's like a cup final.
Well,
you can understand why. That's
I mean, Palace were unbeaten for a long, long time, and they wanted to keep this going. This was against a Liverpool team who'd won 5 out of 5, and people are saying, they're not quite at the level we would expect, and I would agree with that. I mean, his team selection, Arne Slot, would be questionable in my opinion. No Gakpo on the left. In the first half, it was so narrow. Florian Wirtz, unfortunately, at this moment in time, hasn't got to the level that we expected, and certainly me, and I'm a big,
there's some
big
growing
fan of him.
question marks over him. It's still early. He's still adjusting to the Premier League, but are the question marks growing for you?
I mean, look, we're 6 games into the Premier League. He cost an awful lot of money. He's still very, very young, and we know how demanding the Premier League can be. But it was just a fact when I saw the team sheet and there was no Gakpo, they were so tight, it was so compact, and it was pretty easy for Crystal Palace to get down that right-hand side under Muniz, and he had an opportunity. Alisson again. Crystal Palace, second in the Premier League. Well done, you guys.
And how would you assess overall Isak this afternoon? Gets his first Premier League start. Overall disappointing?
Yes, he probably played more minutes than we would have expected. Rio Ungamoa came on with 10 minutes plus time added on, if that. So they got 80 plus minutes from Isak. He would never, ever have played that. He had a header opportunity that he probably should do better with. He looked a little bit frustrated. We saw a little bit of glance where McAllister played a top-class ball in and he gets it stuck under his feet and pushes past the post. Fine margins. He's still got to find connections with his teammates, but I'm taking nothing away from this Crystal Palace team. They were absolutely sensational today.
They really were. Let's get on.
For him to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, but he brings so much energy to the team in an attacking sense. He's sort of that link between when they play deep and then they win the ball. It goes up to Mateta. He's the one who gets up and joins in and can run beyond. But to score from a set play, he was unmarked basically in the 6-yard box. I think players switched off, but obviously, unfortunately, Ryan's header, it goes back across the box rather than an out. Phil would say as a defender, you've got to head it high and get distance on it. It went back in and he was unmarked, just tapped it in. And a great start for Palace, a poor start for us. And but credit to Palace and Sarr, he brings them energy. He scored obviously against us in the Community Shield as well. But him and Pino, those two sort of tucked in, because they don't play a 3-4-3. They play basically a 3-4-2 tucked in and one up. A little problem sometimes to midfielders that they get in those positions in there, and you've got to pick them up. But tactically, I thought Palace were very good today. But it was a poor goal from a set play for us to give away.
Yeah, from a defensive point of view, I think Ryan just can't quite get a clean contact on it, can he really? And so I can't
how critical do you want me to be?
Not very.
Our bread and butter is to keep your eye on the ball and head it. And even if you head it back out to the corner taker, you still got time to reset. Nigel's right, you want to hit it high and far. Ryan turns his back on it. He goes up. He knows there's bodies coming together. He turns his back. He hits him on the side of the head and it drops. So to say that Sarr is unmarked, his job was to stand on Ali and put him off. So you can't really mark him there, otherwise you're going to impede. So he is free. It just drops to him easy. What a tap in 9 minutes, So yeah, it's. Some people go, we can't defend. It's an individual error from a guy who's been superb for us this season. And sometimes that happens. You take the after ball and it hits you. It's unfortunate.
I think Becky, absolutely right. And sometimes defensively, you'll get attacking players who think someone's going to win it and I'll take a gamble and I'll run this way. And I think that's what happened on the second goal, was we thought we're going to win it and we'll take a step this way forward and then the ball goes in behind you. And it's just sometimes decision-making from individuals that cost you a goal, cost you a chance. So it's not a team thing, it's just an individual thing that sometimes you take a gamble and it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, and then you're facing almost a psychological battle as well of, knowing that this is a Palace side that have only conceded at that point 2 goals all season, the joint best defensive record against Arsenal. You give yourself an uphill battle right from the off, Phil.
And buoyed by a great captain in Mark Gahey. We know how good he is. He showed his class today. Said about marshalling Alexander, but that's the voice, that's the leadership in a very good defensive unit. In a back three as well. They got very, very good wing backs as well. Tyreek Mitchell played very, very well. Shepherded Mo We saw some frustration from Mo that I hadn't not seen in many a season, but they doubled up on him at times. Gahey and Tyreek Mitchell on Mo. He had nowhere to go at the times, but backwards, couldn't get really into the game. So again, props to Palace for doing that. But yeah, very good side. Very good defensively.
We've mentioned Ali quite a few times in passing already, but let's just go into detail on some of those saves. There was a period, I think, 10-15 minutes in that first half where he was phenomenal, relentless.
Yeah. Well, he's saving things with his knees, with his feet, everything.
I think it was everything apart from his head, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of them might have been tight to be offside or were given for offside, but he didn't know that. He still made the saves. But I just thought Konate a couple of times got caught out today, went under his foot, slipped, and I think Mateta upset him a little bit. He got a yellow card early on, out-battled him. And sometimes psychologically against a player you don't like playing against, Phil will tell you, especially if you're a defender, you don't want them to get the better of you, and sometimes they just suck you into doing silly things. I think that happened to him today. And then Connor was trying to push on and join in and get beyond Mo because Mo couldn't get in behind. He's having to come to feet. So, you know, the structure of Crystal Palace team caused problems for us. And when they won it, they broke very quickly. And that caused us problems. And then Ali ended up making 3-4 fantastic saves in a row. And we were 1-0 down at that time. Yeah. So, you know, that's why he's a world-class goalkeeper and why he's so reliable.
I mean, I suppose when your keeper is, I haven't seen the official award, but I would imagine is Liverpool's player of the match. That kind of tells a bit of a story that maybe you don't want to be told about a game, but at the same time, credit where credit is due. It's phenomenal. One
save that the viewers will see later from, was it Pina, the Spanish guy, came in 8 yards out, side foot, open goal. He hits it in. Ali gets down to his right-hand side. Unbelievable. It was literally saved it on the goal line. How he kept that out was just world class.
Defensively, I'll stay with yourself for this, but you know, in that first half, there were fragilities at times. I think Mateta caused quite a lot of problems, and Ibu Konate had a few issues with him, as would many defenders, to be fair, in the Premier League, because he is a tough customer.
He is, and I think he certainly rattled Ibu at the Charity Shield, and I think there's some scar tissue from that. I think that we know that Ibu has an immense physical presence, but he's got someone that can match him pound for pound, you know, and that doesn't happen often in the Premier League. So when they're tussling, he's got someone that he's not getting the better of. We've seen fouls given against Ibu just from his size and strength. Not today. Mateta got inside his head. I think, as Nigel alluded to, he slipped on the halfway line. It's a little bit lapsy-daisical, got caught out. Then it was a foot race. Ali saved him. There's another one on the touchline. Mateta rolled him. I think it was another yellow card. He was really into Ibus. And I at one stage, I was wondering if the manager, if Arne was going to take him off because he was yellow carded in the first half. And we've seen him do that with Kirkez. And you think maybe bring Joey on and just maybe settle it down a little bit, or give him the scope to maybe put Ryan in the back and then change because Wirtz and Maka weren't working. So there was a stage in the game where there could have been maybe a tactical change. Yeah,
it might not surprise you to learn that those two, Mateta and Konate, contested the most duels on the pitch. It finished about even, actually, so honours shared. But he's quite almost reminds me of a centre forward that you would have seen in almost the 70s and 80s. He's like quite a traditional physical presence, isn't he? Which you don't always see in the modern day game, but he's incredibly effective at what he does.
Since Glaston's been there, his game has really gone up, and I think he's obviously, the manager's got into him and said, this is what I need you to do for the team. And he does it superbly. The style of play with a number 9 who's going to lead the line, who's going to back into the defender, you know, and then